These impressive castle walls, it's thought, hold the treasure of an English king. Find out where I am and which royal reputedly hid his treasure here in just a few moments. Today's buyers can't wait to retreat into a relaxing rural environment as they head towards their retirement. And I come a cropper when I don't quite hit the mark with a certain piece of kitchen kit.
The one thing that does concern me is the cooker.
I've never not sold a house because of the size of a cooker. And so I'll come in and do the work myself.
I'll hold you to that.
You wouldn't want it, mate, to be honest.
But our properties do come up trumps as they push entertaining opportunities to the max.
That would be very good if you wanted to have a marquee and a party, wouldn't it?
You need to get on with the neighbours before you start planning those parties.
Housewarming party.
Oh, yeah, quite. Today, I'm in Cheshire, and these are the formidable ruins of Beeston Castle. Now, it's thought back in 1399, King Richard II buried a hoard of gold coins here before fleeing over to Ireland. It's a mystery that's literally rumbled on for centuries. So much so that back in 2009, English Heritage carried out an in-depth investigation, excavating deep down into this very well, which is quite some feat when you bear in mind it's actually the deepest medieval well in Britain. Now, to date, well, the King's supposed fortune is yet to be found. But as you're about to see, there's still plenty to discover across this beautiful county.
Located in the northwest of England, the rolling hills of Cheshire are bordered to the east by Derbyshire, whilst to the west lies Wales. The county stretches over 900 square miles of unspoilt countryside, including lush pasture, ancient woodland and lowland heaths. To the east lie the Cheshire Peaks, part of the Peak District, which was designated as Britain's first national park in 1951. With extensive vistas and windswept moorland, they provide the perfect setting for a range of outdoor pursuits. The hilly backdrop of the Peak District gives way to flat and rich expanses of the Cheshire Plains, known as the backbone of the region's dairy industry. Cheshire cheese has been churned here since the 11th century, making it the oldest named cheese in Britain. At the heart of the region is Chester. Once a Roman fortress site, it's now a thriving city offering a wealth of architectural treasures such as the Chester Rose, a unique collection of two-tiered shops built in black and white timbers dating as far back as the 14th century. With all this on offer, it's plain to see why Cheshire is a popular location for rural devotees.
Cheshire not only delivers generously on countryside, its property values are fairly enticing too. As it stands, the average price of a detached house in the county is currently around £259,000. That's a rather generous £23,000 below the national figure. But of course, there are hotspots, and you can expect to pay around a 10% premium in the areas around the villages of Tarpley and Kelsall, due mainly to the fact they're considered commuter towns for Liverpool and Manchester. But if you head south towards more rural areas around the villages of Malpass and Farndon, then your budget will stretch quite a bit further. So why are today's buyers being lured to this rather charming county? Let's meet them and find out.
Merchant banker Robert and practice nurse Paula met in a bar in 2007. 2 years later, they moved in together and they now share a home in a suburban village within the borough of Stockport, Greater Manchester. The village is a convenient location for city commuters, but as our couple live on the main road, it's beginning to affect their quality of life.
Although it's a village, it's actually between two towns in Romiley and Marple, and you get a lot of commuter traffic going both ways. There's definitely been an increase in the number of cars, particularly in rush hour. So a journey to Stockport in the morning, although it's only 5 miles, can take us up to 45 minutes.
When it comes to the new property, they have very definite desires and they're looking for the polar opposite of their current home, a striking 19th century converted chapel.
It is unique and it was converted to maintain a lot of the original features. So we live upstairs and all the bedrooms are all downstairs.
Although I love the house, I would like the kitchen downstairs. It's always quite difficult when we're entertaining, carrying trays up and down the stairs.
They now want a more conventional layout and are hoping that spiritual salvation will instead come from their newfound rural backdrop.
I love the countryside. I've always been interested in walking, camping, the outside lifestyle.
There's a lot of lovely little villages which are far more isolated than here, quieter, but still with a village atmosphere. Also, I have grandchildren not too far away, and I didn't want to move a million miles away from where they are so I could have regular contact with them.
Robert currently works from home, but they've both recently reduced their working hours. So as the pair of them edge towards retirement, this adventurous couple are looking forward to dedicating more of their time to their creative and sports-related pastimes.
Both of us play golf, and I know that in that area there's quite a lot of very good golf courses.
I enjoy all sorts of things like patchwork, quilting, knitting. So I'm hoping that the countryside will inspire me to try various other crafts and perhaps develop the crafts that I already have.
Now that their house is on the market, Robert and Paula are raring to go, and with their Jack Russell Toby by their sides, they're ready to begin their search.
I feel now that the time is right to open a new chapter in our lives.
So we can actually get settled in and be able to enjoy our retirement in our new property.
Our buyers are familiar with the Cheshire countryside and are hoping their new home will be in and around the large village of Tarpley. So that's the location sorted. But before we begin the house hunt, I need to find out exactly what they want from the property.
Well, good morning.
Good morning, Johnny.
So who's behind this big decision? Who's the driver here?
I suppose I am really.
I asked you the question, I don't know why.
What do you mean, really?
Yeah.
I suppose Rob really would have been quite happy to stay where we are for another couple of years, but I'm ready for a move.
What do you plan to do? How are you going to make the most out of this countryside, Paula?
I've always enjoyed camping. Maybe that's something I'll have to do on my own.
I'm trying to find you a house. If you want to go camping, I'll just look for a field for you. That's easy.
I'll just have a big back garden.
Was that important to you then, a garden?
A garden is important.
I would just like to be able to open the doors and just potter outside as and when.
Bedrooms. How many do we want?
A minimum of 3.
Entertaining. Do you want open plan living?
A big open plan kitchen diner would be nice.
You're used to living in a character property.
Yeah.
Do you want to replicate that?
We do want character, but it could be a newish house with character.
Location. Where is this house situated?
On the edge of a village.
Yeah. OK.
Not too far from a pub. Pub's it's the heart of a community, isn't it?
I think so.
We want to join in and, you know, be part of that village.
How much money are you looking to spend, Rob?
Circa 650.
So the home you live in at the moment, what's going on with that? Are you for sale? Are you sold? What's the latest?
It's gone under offer at the moment.
That's brilliant.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good.
Scary.
Scare? Well, it means you've got to make this move, doesn't it? You're closer to it.
It puts pressure on you.
I don't mind that so much. We better get going then, haven't we?
Yeah,
Yes.
no
Let's
pressure.
get started.
Come on.
I love pressure. What are you talking about? I live for it.
We thrive on it.
With a top budget of £650,000, Paul and Robert would still like a character property, but with a more conventional layout. They need a minimum of 3 bedrooms, a modern open-plan kitchen diner, direct access to a garden and an edge-of-village location. We've scoured the property market and come up with an attractive selection of Cheshire homes to tempt our buyers, but they won't be told the price until the end of each tour. Then our final contender will be the rather magical Mystery House, where we're taking contemporary and character to a whole new level.
So what are you going to do in the countryside?
Well, we enjoy golfing where we are, so we're hoping that we'll join a golf club somewhere around here.
Do you play golf together?
We try not to.
It's a great way to fall out playing together.
I can fall out with myself playing golf. Who's the better golfer?
Me.
No.
Our property search kicks off in the hamlet of Calverley. This is not far from their favourite village, the upmarket Tarpley, where handsome 18th and 19th century buildings line the high street. With a range of stylish independent stores, coffee shops and boutiques, it's home to a host of amenities, as well as a variety of restaurants and pubs. Just over 4 miles away and benefiting from rural views over the Cheshire Plains is house number 1.
So here's our first property. What's your thoughts?
Very attractive, very
It's
nice.
a barn.
It's a barn. Did you predict it was going to be a barn?
We had an inclination it might be a barn, but yeah.
It's a barn converted around 6 years ago.
OK.
All right.
And it's got a wall garden round that looks secure, and to let the dog out and
Yeah.
just roam free, that looks perfect. I
Now-
like the Cheshire brick.
Yes, it's lovely, isn't it?
It is, it gives it character. Yeah, impressed, impressed.
Wonderful.
That's just what we're looking for.
Yeah.
Wonderful, she says.
Yeah,
OK.
Can't wait to get inside.
Well, let's do just that. Follow me.
OK.
This 19th century barn offers a space suitable for modern living whilst maintaining the original character of the property. Taken with the look of the exterior, I'm feeling positive that the fusion of old and new will also appeal inside.
Let's see what you think of the first big room we come to.
Nice.
And I can see another little bit round the corner, so it's obviously quite flowing.
Well, it is flowing, and I know you said you liked open plan.
Yeah.
So, is this what you had in mind?
It's lovely to see the garden straight outside,
Yeah.
and
Good.
I can picture opening the door into the garden.
Good. Through here is where you'll probably snuggle up and watch the telly on a winter's night.
OK. That's a nice space.
How do you think you'd use this room?
We have 2 rooms at home. I watch football in one, Paula watches programmes in the other, so it would suit us fine.
Well, me and you, Rob, would be watching the football
In here.
in here, I think.
I think we keep this exactly as it is, really.
Yeah, I think it's positive.
Good stuff. Kitchen next.
OK.
Come with me.
Heading back through the open plan living and dining area, we're making a beeline for what quite clearly is Paula's domain.
It's possibly not quite as large as I would imagine, but because you've got this sort of dining area here,
Ample for the 2 of us.
I think it's fine. If you have friends round in the evening, you can be cooking, they can be mingling here or outside in the garden. So, yes, I think it works.
It's still got character because it's maintained the beams and everything, so it's, yeah.
Well, hopefully it's getting that nice fusion between the sort of old and new.
And I think I can see a utility room just peeping off there. So that works quite well.
Let's look upstairs.
OK.
So far, so good. Next, we're going to view the sleeping quarters, where 4 bedrooms are split across 2 floors. In the eaves, there's a large ensuite bedroom, currently used for storage, but which could be a good office space for Rob. Then, on the first floor, there's a sleek family bathroom shared by the other 3 double bedrooms. One of them has its own staircase up to a mezzanine level, used as a study. Another is a comfortable double, but we're stopping off at the bedroom I've earmarked for Paula and Rob.
Nice size. Yeah,
Is it a nice size?
it is. It carries on around there. It's,
All right.
Paula thinks otherwise.
Oh, no.
Then the ensuite has not only a shower but a bath in.
OK, nice. And I like the height as well, the ceiling that goes up.
I just thought maybe where would you put a dressing table? I know she's got that under the window.
Under the window, then?
Yeah, maybe.
You could reconfigure it, couldn't you, anyway?
Couldn't have a big mirror, though, then, because that would block out the light. That's the only
Well,
thing.
that's the thing. Do you want a mirror or do you want a view?
That would be a view.
Oh, see, sorry. I missed the opportunity for a sickeningly cheesy compliment there, didn't I?
I'll settle for the view.
Should we go outside, take a look at the garden, but also it's your first opportunity to start thinking about the price. All right?
Fine.
Okay.
To the front of the property, there's a large double garage and parking for 3 cars. To the rear, the beautiful landscape garden frames a large lawn surrounded by established borders. As we make our way across the grass, I have one more surprise for our couple.
So what do you think of the garden then, Paula? Decent enough size?
It's a good size. I like it.
I like the fact there's a lot of lawn on it, easy to maintain.
Now, one thing you haven't seen is the other side of that wall, there's a paddock,
OK.
about an acre. That comes with the property.
That would
Okay.
be very good if you wanted to have a marquee and a party, wouldn't it?
Yes, well, you need to get on with the neighbours before you start planning those parties.
Housewarming party.
Oh, yeah, quite. So, how much do you think this barn conversion is on the market for?
So I'm going to go for 565.
OK, Rob?
I'll go higher than that, bearing in mind what our budget is, and I'll go for 625.
He's good.
Is it?
Spot on. This place on the market for around 625.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, go back inside this house. Have a good butcher's and I'll catch you later on. OK, see you in a bit.
Thank you.
£25,000 below the maximum budget, this converted barn with 4 bedrooms seems to offer the character and open-plan living that our couple are after. Situated within an idyllic rural setting, it also comes with its very own paddock.
I think the house inside delivered on every aspect that we asked for. I like the layout, I like everything about it, really.
Interesting space, this, isn't it?
It is. Not quite sure what you would use it for.
Could always be an office.
I don't know if it's big enough, really.
Could always put the dog up here.
I could see myself living here because being a converted barn, it's got character. It's light, it's airy, it's spacious, and it's a mixture of old and new. So yeah, potentially we could.
You know, I was thinking, you mentioned you'd love to have a house where you just open the door and your dog can run out. This is Jacko heaven, isn't it?
It certainly is. He'd love
We're
this.
not buying a house for the dog, but I do know what you mean, and it's wonderful just stepping out into the garden.
1 down, 2 to go. Come on, mate.
Just a stone's throw from the village of Tarpley are 3 lakes known as the Winsford Flashes. The flashes were created as a result of extensive salt mining in the 19th century, which caused the underground voids to collapse and flood. Covering an area of 200 acres and situated near to the River Weaver, these waters are considered locally to be Cheshire's answer to the Norfolk Broads. With their newfound freedom on the horizon, our active couple are keen to try out a new sport together. So we've arranged for them to have a sailing lesson with instructor Keith Sowley.
Welcome to Winsford Flash Sailing Club.
It looks lovely, I must say. Lovely location.
Stunning, absolutely stunning.
So have you done any sailing before?
I've done a little bit of sailing, but unfortunately, I've only had 1 or 2 lessons.
I think you're a secret expert.
No, definitely not.
I can assure you I'm a complete novice. Don't worry
Right.
about that.
Would we be considered quite old to learn to sail?
We've got people here who are over 80 who sail,
Wow, really?
and myself and my wife, we didn't learn to sail until we were over 50.
Excellent.
OK?
That sounds about perfect for us, yeah.
Yeah.
The sailing club opened in 1935 and now in its 80th year has 200 members. It's a blustery day on the riverbank, so it's essential for Keith to run through some basic training on dry land, as there are important safety measures to consider.
Hold onto the boat. You can hang on to any of the ropes inside the boat, or there is a line going all the way around the gunnels that you can hold onto that if necessary.
So what would happen if we capsized?
You capsize because the wind is blowing from the side. We can let the sail out, but more importantly, we use our body weight.
Good job, have plenty of weight then, isn't it?
Well, we'll see what happens.
The club provides boats for beginners before they decide whether to purchase their own. Boats suited to this type of sailing can cost anything from a few hundred to £7,000 or £8,000.
I'll get in first,
Armed with some basic skills, Paula and Rob are taking to the water.
and off we go. You are sailing.
Shall we go back now?
The skill of sailing is learning how to harness wind power. One basic manoeuvre is called a tack, which involves changing the position of the boat in relation to the direction of the wind. If the wind is coming from the right, the left sheet or rope is pulled tight to control the movable corner of the jib, also known as the mainsail.
OK, we're going to do a tack in a moment. So you grab hold of the left sheet. Are you ready?
Ready?
I'll get a tack. Jib across. Let go of the jib. Paula. There we go. And up the side, Rob. That's it.
Whilst the sails are pulled in the direction of the wind, it's crucial to maintain the balance of the boat by distributing the weight of those on board.
OK, Rob, when the boat tips up, you need to come up this side a bit. OK? OK, if Paula sits a little bit further forward,
Where? Down here?
towards the shroud, right up by the shroud, that's fine. So how are you finding it?
Exhilarating.
Hey, it's lovely. I'm really enjoying this.
yes.
This is nice.
As our couples sail off, it's clear that they're eager to embrace all that a rural life has to offer. But we still need to find them a property that lives up to their idea of country living too. Our next offering takes us to Church Minshall, which is 8 miles from Tarpley. Characterised by its Tudor-style architecture, this village is located within a conservation area. There's a popular local pub, village hall and an active community, so I think Paula and Rob could find themselves quite at home here. Situated 1.5 miles away in a peaceful rural setting is our second property.
So here we are. And guess what?
Not a barn.
I'm Park Merson. There's a theme running here, isn't there? Another similar development of similar vintage, really. This was converted just 5 years ago.
OK.
The original building is around 1890s. What do we think?
It seems quite tiny.
Guess what? It's not. It's very far from that.
I like it, but everybody seems a little bit in close proximity to one another. I have got a few reservations about that.
Valid point.
There must be a back door.
There is a back door. And you know what? This is probably the only property here with a back door you could use and not be seen by the neighbours.
Escape to the country.
Yeah, quite. When you step through that door, I think you might start feeling rather differently about the place.
OK.
Come on, mate.
OK.
This 19th century barn was originally a cowshed which formed part of the adjacent farm. Converted 5 years ago, there are 4 dwellings which all share a central lawned courtyard. When it comes to the house in question, the current owners reconfigured and extended the layout of the kitchen to take full advantage of the views to the rear of the property.
Let's start off with the open plan aspect of this house.
Nice. Like it. Like it a lot.
Yes.
My style of kitchen, this.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Paula's style of kitchen. My style of table to sit at.
Is it your spots over there, man? The seats.
I do like it. I like the flooring. I like the door out into the garden. Plus, as well, you haven't just got the garden, you've got the fields beyond the garden, so that gives it a very open, rural feel.
You're in the country now, aren't you?
Certainly are. The one thing that does concern me is the cooker. It's quite a small cooker, and when you've got people at Christmas, I don't think there's enough space there if you're having a big family get-together at Christmas.
You could put a double-width cooker in here, put a big range in here if you wanted to. Would that make you feel better about the room?
It's a possibility, yeah.
Yeah, it's a possibility.
Plenty of cupboard space in there, so
Yeah.
you could sacrifice 1 or 2.
OK, well, look, I've never not sold a house because of the size of a cooker. And so I'll come in and do the work myself.
I'll hold you to that.
You wouldn't want it, mate, to be honest. All right, let's keep looking through.
OK.
Our couple seem to be warming to the property. The corridor takes us past a downstairs cloakroom and a dining room. But next we're heading to the sitting room, where I'm hoping the positive vibes will continue.
I don't like it as much. I think it's the flow of the house, really. It's the kitchen with a separate dining room, and I just think it's the carrying everything backwards and forwards from the kitchen to the dining room.
It's a nice house. You know, the character of the beams and stuff, yeah, that's spot on, but I'm not getting the wow factor from it.
OK, let's go upstairs, see what you think of that.
OK.
OK.
Sadly, we seem to have taken a backward step, but there's plenty more to impress, including a modern oak staircase from which the barn's height can be fully appreciated. On the first floor, there's a bathroom featuring a spa bath, as well as 4 bedrooms. 3 of these are doubles, which benefit from high ceilings and en suites, and could be useful for visiting family or for converting into an office for Rob. There's also a small but bright single, but we're going to view the bedroom with the most character.
High ceiling,
Nice
Yeah?
beams.
like that.
Is this your master?
It could be.
No, the features are nice, and the Velux window and things.
And the views
and
out
the
there.
height and the views, yes. There's not really enough wardrobe space there, though, but then you could have more wardrobe
You could have a built-in
space
wardrobe
there,
across
couldn't
there.
you?
No, it's a nice room, yeah. It does have a lot going for it, but I
What's
think
missing?
it's been sympathetically done, I'll give them
Yeah.
that, but I don't think we'd ever use a dining room downstairs.
Look, one of the main reasons we brought you here wasn't the internal parts of this house, it was the outside space and its outlook. So let me take you there now.
OK.
Outside of the property, there is parking as well as a detached double garage. The main benefit of a corner plot in this development is that it boasts a generous lawned garden that stretches around the side and rear of the barn, where features include a paved patio and a raised decked area in a secluded spot. What's more, this property also has its own paddock. Amounting to just over half an acre, the land here is blessed with far-reaching views over open countryside. In contrast to the front of the property, the sprawling garden here feels quite private.
Now, this garden is something special, isn't it?
Oh, definitely.
Certainly big enough, without a doubt.
Without thinking too far into the future, grown-up children now no longer living at home, the pitter-patter of grandchildren's feet, they'd want to come here, wouldn't they?
They can have a football pitch there, can't they?
I was thinking more pitch and putt.
Let's guess the price. How much do you think this house is on the market for?
I'd actually say it's more than the previous one. I go at 645.
Paula?
I would probably go for about 625.
Well, you're both quite a bit out. This house is on the market for up to around £550,000.
Blimey, mate. That does surprise me.
£100,000 less than your budget. Would that money make you feel differently about your property?
No.
OK.
Simple as that.
Fair enough. But I do want you to go back inside this house, get a feel for what you get for your money, and then, well, I'll meet you when you're done, all right?
Right.
Okay.
Okay,
See you later.
Thank you.
At £100,000 below the top budget, this converted barn has 4 bedrooms and offers a blend of character and contemporary features. Providing a large kitchen diner, private garden, as well as an additional paddock, it's all set in a delightful rural location.
Nice house, well presented, but I wasn't over-impressed with the access to it. It's nice, and throughout the house the woodwork's lovely. But this to me seems more spacious and larger room than the other one. I think this would probably be a master bedroom.
Yes, it's definitely better. It's got the character, it's got the beams, but it doesn't quite have the flow that I would like to a house.
So all done inside and out?
All done.
All done.
Well, hopefully I've given you something to discuss over dinner today.
You certainly have.
Yes, 2 barn conversions to compare.
And one, I think, a clear winner. Let's take it back.
Okay.
It's the second day of our property search with Robert and Paula from Greater Manchester. Their unconventional home is already under offer, so the pressure is on to find a more classic property in rural Cheshire with a budget of £650,000. Coming up, our mystery property delivers ultra-modern living with dimensions, character and luxury that should really raise the roof.
This is what you call open space. Very impressive.
Oh, yeah, I
Absolutely
really,
beautiful.
really love it.
And I explore the community life of traditional estate villages where I get hands-on with some of the locals.
Am I doing that right?
Absolutely spot on.
So, day 2 here in Cheshire, and it's a beautiful morning. But I must say, on reflection to looking at houses yesterday, I think Paul and Rob had a clear favourite out of those 2 barn conversions because one delivered the character and, perhaps more importantly, that open plan configuration they're after. Now, today's property certainly delivers those 2 attributes. But, of course, being the mystery house, or should I say the mystery property, it also comes with quite a big challenge. Let's see how we get on.
For our mystery house, we're heading to Northwich. It's 10 miles from Tarpley, so it's the furthest village away from Rob and Paula's ideal location. Close by is the village of Cuddington, which originally flourished in 1870 due to the completion of the Manchester to Chester Railway. Today, residents are served by a family butcher's, a pub and a few local shops. But sitting just outside the village and set within 14 acres on its own private estate is our mystery property. For a couple comfortable living in a converted chapel, I couldn't resist presenting them with something featuring such history and style. And I'm hopeful that this one should be well worth the potential compromise.
So, this is us. What do you make of this?
It looks like a fantasy castle.
It's got a touch of that, hasn't it?
It's certainly different. Wow.
It's
what a
obviously
building.
not the whole thing.
No, I don't think you want to heat the whole thing or
Yeah,
repair
it
the
would be
roof.
massive,
It's a
but
castle.
It is. Now, we are staring at a late 19th century baronial-style mansion. We will be looking at an apartment in this mansion.
All right.
all right.
OK.
Yeah.
Now, this was designed by architect John Douglas for a couple of brothers who were merchants who, unfortunately, their business collapsed when they lost their ships in the blockade of Charleston. So they never got to live in this beautiful property.
And is it a ground floor apartment we would be looking at?
That's the rub. No.
Oh.
OK.
Now, the property we're going to have a look around is on the left-hand side there.
Okay. First
Right.
floor?
Yeah, first floor. Do you want to look inside? Please say yes.
Definitely, yes.
Yes.
Good, come on.
Go on.
Dating back to 1897, this Grade 2 listed baronial mansion was once a hospital before it was converted into 8 homes in the 1990s. Designed to challenge our couple's mindset, our two-storey mystery apartment delivers historic style with a difference. Providing a magnificent and modern open-plan layout of more than 2,000 square feet, I have a feeling that this will push contemporary and character beyond the realms of what Paula and Rob could ever have imagined.
Now, the first big feature is this.
Wow, what a staircase.
That's something else, isn't it?
It is.
It keeps it light as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's clever, isn't it? This glass staircase was imported from Germany by the developers that refurbished this entire flat.
So is it sold as soon?
There's often a deal to be done, but let's see what you think of them.
Okay, great.
Let's go. Now, this has got to impress anyone, surely.
How can you not be impressed with a room like this?
This is lovely, isn't it? Absolutely glorious. Quite modern fixtures and fittings as well, but it just blends in perfectly, doesn't it?
This is what you call open space. This is very impressive.
Oh, yeah, I
Absolutely
really,
beautiful.
really love it.
Yeah.
Do love it.
Let's go and take a look at the kitchen then. So, you like the idea of open plan kitchen and living areas. Is this what you're after then?
You can live in this room. You've got a dining area there, you've got a social area there, and it just flows, doesn't it?
Now, have you got enough ovens?
Yes, yes.
Yeah?
Ovens.
I think there's 3 here, isn't there? I wonder what the architect John Douglas would have thought when he designed this to be a billiard room, then suddenly someone stuck a contemporary kitchen unit in the middle of it.
I think you'd be snookered.
Oh dear. Come with me.
What fantastic reactions! Perhaps Rob and Paula like this property so much as it features unique characteristics similar to those in their current home. But before I jump to any conclusions, there's one more room to show them on this floor.
Now, there is a master bedroom on this level, which is
Okay.
this.
Oh, beautifully
Well,
done
again,
again,
very
isn't it?
tastefully decorated, isn't it? Somebody's done a fabulous job
Yeah,
on
they knew what
this.
they're doing, didn't they, when they did this place.
Without a doubt.
In there, you got a really cool wet room.
Okay.
This mystery property delivers in other things that you haven't asked for, like the contemporary decor.
Yeah.
But do these sway you, or are they just impressing you?
You can't help but be impressed by the way this has been done. Yeah, it's certainly given me something to think about.
That's good. Follow me.
Split over 2 floors, there are a total of 3 bedrooms. Up on the 3rd floor, there are 2 beautifully presented doubles. One with built-in storage and another which could be an office for Rob. But I'm itching to show our couple what I feel is another high-spec highlight of this property.
Now, I think this is where the developer has showed their worth.
This is impressive. Unbelievable, isn't it? You go to seeing that. Yeah. 3 men in a boat.
Now, another thing you might not have seen so far, that's a wicked little flat-screen TV. I'll leave the rest to your imagination. Let's go outside.
Okay.
Outside, the grounds amount to a vast 14 acres featuring beautiful landscape gardens and a lake, all managed by a committee of residents. This private setting could also provide our couple with the ideal environment for dog walking. Rob and Paula appear to appreciate everything about this property, but I want to know what they really think about its potential as their future home.
So here we are.
I wouldn't like to mow the lawns.
No.
14 acres, but...
Thankfully, you don't have to. That's
Good.
all covered for you. OK, well, look, you've not really talked about how you fit into this equation.
I'm still trying to get my head around that.
Yeah.
Being a first-floor apartment...
Yeah.
And the practicality of where I'd have an office.
Yeah, you'd have to sacrifice one of those bedrooms, I'm
And those
afraid.
bedrooms are too nice to sacrifice.
Time to guess the price. How much do you think this house is on the market for?
I'm going to go for 480.
OK.
I'll go higher. I still think it's below our budget, but I'll go at 560.
He's good. This place is on the market for offers around £550,000.
2-1.
Yes, 2-1. So, it is within budget, but I'm starting to get... There's lots of things you like about it, but it perhaps isn't a home for you.
No, I don't think it's a home.
No.
As I've
It's
just...
a lovely property. Lovely, and I'm glad you showed it to us, because it is. It's stunning. And
Good.
somebody will make it into a wonderful, wonderful place to live.
Again, under budget, our high-spec contemporary mystery apartment has 3 bedrooms and is configured so that modern open-plan living complements the original character of the mansion. With a huge acreage of land, it's also located on the outskirts of a village.
The Mystery House has been done to a style that I really love. The facade is stunning. The grounds are stunning.
I felt at home in the Mystery House immediately. It was just the feeling of the light and the space, the airiness. It reminded me, in certain respects, of the property that we already live in.
If the Mystery House was on the ground floor and we had the doors going out into the grounds, then I would certainly say it would be a contender.
All done?
Yes, thank you.
Suitably impressed?
Very
You can't fail
impressed.
with impressed, can you?
Well, unfortunately, that's all the properties we're going to have a look at. So time now to find you somewhere to have a bit of a chit-chat, and I'll catch up with you after that.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
In the east of Cheshire lies the Tatton Estate, which is the largest private landowner in the area, originally owned by the Egerton family for 400 years. Since 1957, it has been under the stewardship of the Brookes, and falling within the estate are several thousand acres of land and over 500 properties. Sitting within the land are the two beautiful estate villages of Rosthern and Bostock Green, which have remained virtually unchanged since the late 19th century. With foundations laid in 1775, Bostock Green features a number of individual Georgian and Victorian cottages, characterised by their uniformed cobbled paths and white fences, all built from red bricks fired in a local kiln. I've come to the village to meet with current custodian Henry Brooks and to learn more about the estate and village life.
Hello, Henry, how are you?
Very well. Good morning. Welcome to Bostock.
Thank you very much. Lovely to be here. Now, Bostock, it seems to be a village with a difference.
Absolutely. Bostock is a traditional estate village, which has a strong sense of unity. It's also historic as the centre of the old county of Cheshire. The tree that you came past on your way in marked the old centre before the boundary changes.
Now, this community here forms part of a much bigger estate.
Absolutely.
What are we talking? You've got businesses located on the estate as well?
We see everything from your traditional farms and agricultural businesses right up to sort of more intense sort of retail and industrial type businesses.
You're bringing jobs back into a village.
In order to preserve villages, we feel you have to actually invest and create new things to retain young people and opportunities. So, wonderful story of we've been able to get the old village hall, which was completely derelict and falling down, and we've managed to invest in it, to repair it and bring in a nursery school, which has brought children into the village.
Now, I'm on the way to see dairy farmers. Give me a heads up, are they likely to get me working for them?
I have absolutely no doubt.
Well, Bob Wells, thank you so much, Henry.
No, thank you.
I'm making my way to meet up with third-generation farmer Adrian Smith, who has run a farm just outside of Bostock Green for 50 years. Together with his son Jason, they are tenant dairy farmers on the estate.
What does it mean to you guys living and working in the village then, Adrian?
It's part of my history, part of my life. It's got a great tradition. It's a lovely part of the centre of Cheshire. A very unique place to live, yeah.
Now, there must be some new technology, some new practices that you might be urging your father to use at all?
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to bring in a computerised herd management system. My dad's not too keen on it because it means dealing with computers.
I mean, there's a lot of tradition with farmers anyway, skills being handed down.
Yeah.
Does that mean a lot to you?
Yeah, it does. It does. I mean, somewhere like Bostock that's got a lot of history, it's important not to lose that history, keep the traditions in place, but on the other hand, then, we have to have sustainability. So to survive here, we have to modernise too.
Now, Jason, you milk how many times a day here? Twice?
Twice a day.
Can we go up the fields now, shall we?
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
With over 20 million litres of milk consumed each day in the UK, some 2 million cows across the country must be milked to keep up with the demand. It only takes 10 minutes for the cows to make their way from the fields to the milking parlour. Here they're fed a nut-based nutrient mix to keep them calm whilst the milking process takes place.
Well, how long will this process take each cow, do you think?
Depending on how much milk they're going to give, roughly about 10 minutes.
This is all automatic, is it?
This is all automatic, computerised. It can tell when the cow's done, finished milking.
Looks fairly simple. Can I have a go?
Your turn.
Depending on their stage of life, each of these cows is capable of producing between 10 and 60 litres of milk a day.
Make sure all these are facing downwards.
OK,
You
right.
can see it's neat and tidy. We go up to the cow.
So I'll keep this nice and high and then guide it up. Am I doing that right?
Absolutely spot on.
Once the cow has finished milking, the units remove themselves automatically.
How many cows do you say you have in the herd?
The milking herd, there's 185.
Goodness me, so you've got 185 cows to milk tonight?
Tonight.
We better go on with it, haven't we?
We better crack on.
Right, OK, let's go that way.
Let's go.
Well, modern methods may be replacing traditional skills, but farming still takes hard graft, dedication and long hours through all seasons and weather. And it's been fascinating to experience firsthand how generations of families are continuing the legacy that has long been the backbone of rural village life.
Well, from my perspective, property number 1 is pretty much led from the front. But after some time to reflect, let's find out what Rob and Paula's thoughts are. You've had a bit of time to think things through. I think there's one clear favourite, and that's that first barn conversion. What do you think of it now?
I think it merits a second viewing.
It had everything that we really wanted in a property. The garden was an ideal size. It had an added bonus of a pasture, which we weren't expecting. And the layout just worked perfectly for us.
What sort of things are you going to look out for on your second viewing?
We would have to have a drive round and get to know the local area a little bit better.
Yeah.
And just perhaps look how the configuration would work out for us as well.
So we showed you the mystery property, which was, I'm sure, something you weren't expecting at all. Could you see yourself ever living in an apartment sometime in the future?
Yes, I think we could see ourselves living in an apartment, although it wasn't something that I probably would have considered until today. Perhaps, though, as you get older, if you lived in an apartment, you would need a lift.
Imagine the mystery property was on the ground floor. What would you think about it then?
If it had direct access out into the garden, then I think it probably would have been ideal.
That's quite a journey then, isn't it? I mean, you'd never have thought you'd be looking at apartments and considering them as places to live, did you?
Open-minded.
Well, when are you thinking of revisiting that barn conversion?
We'll have to be pretty soon because our own property is actually under offer at the minute, so we can't leave it too long.
There's nothing like necessity to urge you on, is there?
No.
Well, I wish you the best of luck at that second viewing, but please let me know what you decide on doing in the end, don't you?
Will do.
Of course we will.
And
yes.
thank you.
Well, it's certainly great news that Rob and Paula want to go back for a second viewing on that first barn conversion. And I think that's basically because it works for them. Certainly on paper, it gives them everything they said they wanted, but most importantly, that open plan configuration inside and a house that has a back door opening onto that glorious garden. So, for the second viewing, they need to ask themselves one very important question. Can they turn that house that works for them into a home that they love? Looking forward to finding out what they think. See you next time.
If you would like to escape to the country in Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland or England and need our help, please apply online at bbc.co.uk/be on a show.